Hey there, you guys. Hello, hello. Um, Today might be a tad bit different than any other message I have shared so far. So let's dive into the question, what is a metaphysician? A metaphysician is someone who studies and practices, and in my case, dedicates their life to the understanding of the ultimate question, who am I? Um, and in doing so, we arrive at the ultimate answer, the one universal truth: I am consciousness, right? And so there's multiple ways we can um, term, there's multiple words that we could use for consciousness. Some people call it God, some people call it source energy, some people call it well, you I don't have to fucking describe that for you. Whatever term you use for the word God, that's what I'm referring to when I say metaphysicians investigate and dwell in, primarily because we're also human, right? But we investigate and we dwell in the nature of consciousness beyond that which is known by our senses. So the word meta means beyond, and physical, well, that's obvious, right? The physical senses, that which we can measure in some way. So, I mean, if we wanted to approach it from a scientific perspective, I would consider myself a quantum physicist. If I wanted to approach it from a religious or purely spiritual perspective, which I guess it is spiritual, but it's also scientific. So let me just say, if I wanted to approach it from a religious perspective, I would say I'm a minister. Okay. And ministry is my work. So a metaphysician is someone who plays in that unseen field of all possibilities. And when I say play, I mean play, because what else is there to life but a continuous play being played out in various ways. So when I work with people, as much as I'm, making it fun and playful here, it's very serious work. But because it is so serious, and then our mind likes to make serious mean heavy and dense and hard to comprehend, which is just a mechanism of the mind that keeps us at a distance from that freedom that we're all looking and longing for, that's already always has been, will be right here. But because our minds make this work seem so hard and so difficult to comprehend, I intentionally inject a lot of playfulness, a lot of F bombs, and a lot of just lightness in the conversation that I have on these videos, but as well as with my clients in private work. And so what does it look like in private work with me? Well, there's a couple of things that I do, but there's one primary thing that I do when I work with someone. If I'm inviting you into the metaphysical realm with me, I've investigated whether you're ready or not, meaning, so this is not me judging in any way, it's just an assessment, um, kind of like you would need to take an entrance exam to get into med school, right? You have to have a level of understanding, a level of experience, a lot of fucking dedication, right? Like you have to show that you're fucking ready for med school. Well, the same is true um, if you step into the metaphysical world with me, or if you want to, if you're applying to work with me, then you and I are going to have a conversation to determine where you're at, what you got going on, and I will use my skills and experience, having done this work for well over a decade professionally and almost 4 decades not professionally, to determine if what I say, if what I share, if what I bring to the table can in fact be absorbed and assimilated by you in a way that exponentially impacts your experience of happiness, of inner peace, of external fulfillment, right? Um, in other words, what I do ain't for everyone on purpose, and that's okay by me. Um, so what I do, if you do make it through the entrance exam, then when we are in session together, and session's not really the right word. It's a metaphysical makeover. So it's a think of this as a mystical VIP day for highly self-aware, primarily women in the public eye. Those of us who, you know, we are being watched, so to speak. In other words, we have the attention of a lot of people, which then for celebrities and CEOs and people running companies and running the show, so to speak, um, those of us um, who have built up a platform with a lot of external expectation placed upon us, we have a tendency to mask up, to armor up. And so, in a metaphysical makeover, what we do is we soften that armor around our hearts. We allow the mask to disintegrate so that we can reveal, and this is done one on one, very privately, very intimately, in a space that I've curated specifically for this type of experience. But so in the unmasking and the arming of our defenses, right, of our ego's defenses, in the doing of that, which that's not easy to do, um, especially if we've built a whole brand, a whole business, a whole life and public image around that mask, right? What people want to see from us, what we think people want us to be. If we've built a whole fucking world around that, that unmasking is not an easy task. But I've made it as simple as possible. Simple doesn't mean easy, just straightforward, right? And I've mastered this process. In fact, I'm trademarking the metaphysical makeover. And so the unmasking of that to then reveal your true self, the you that you were before you were even fucking human. What? Yeah. Right. So the you that is infinite in nature, the you that has every resource available, every joy at your fingertips, all the love, unconditional love, absolute truth, confidence, and courage to be, to speak, to say who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and all these other things, right? So we unmask ourselves in the metaphysical makeover so that we can see, we maybe meet for the first time in our adult lives, see and be our true selves. Okay. And then, so I don't just leave you all raw and vulnerable and unmasked and send you off into the world of that you came in from. No, from that newly revealed true self. And true self in my world is another name for God or the infinite I am, or pure consciousness, right? So from this true self identity, from this infinite I am, then we call forth a plan, if you will, metaphysically. We're calling forth the people, the places, the resources, whatever it is that your heart desires to experience. Okay, so now you're your true self. And your heart knows that it can have whatever it wants, be whoever it wants, do whatever it wants, like from that place of limitlessness, then we call forth. And I'm using this because I have a map that we utilize in the metaphysical makeover. And we we trust the inner guidance, your inner guidance, guided, like I guide you to your guidance. And we trust emphatically, faithfully, your inner guidance to show you the key players in bringing forth that divine manifestation, right? Whatever it is for you, it may be relational, it may be career, it may be part of your mission and your vision for your business or your body. Doesn't matter what in what physical way you would like to express and experience your divinity, we play with that. Okay. So that's the high level version of what happens in a metaphysical makeover. And because, like I said, that awakening and that activation that takes place happens in a very short amount of time. I remember it's like a VIP day, right? That's the closest um, thing that I can utilize to describe the logistics, if you will, of my metaphysical makeover. But because all of that happens rapidly, um, and then it takes a minute or two, a little while longer, to actually integrate, right? To stay in that infinite, open, receptive, playful, lighthearted mindset and truth, then we have weekly calls for 4 weeks, and you can continue on beyond that if you like. But for 4 weeks after your makeover, you get integration and maybe even elevation, because you might get there and be like, oh well, fuck, I already got that thing that I conjured in my makeover day. And so you're like, well, now what? And I go, well, let's elevate the vision. Let's take it to the next level. Now what? Now what do you want? And so that's the playful, metaphysical, magical, wonderful, absolutely creative work that a metaphysician does, or at least this one. There are many other metaphysicians, some that you may know more, like Neville Goddard, Dr. Joseph Murphy, Florence Scovel Shinn. You guys know, right? There's lots of his like the word metaphysician is sort of an old school world. People think it's new age. It's not. Jesus was a metaphysician, okay? Meaning he understood the nature of reality. He understood the nature of humanity, and he dwelled, meaning he played in that space as well as being in the physical world, right? What is the sentence, you guys? Or the I'm of this in this world but not of it. That's the basis for the metaphysical perspective. And you don't have to know all of this. That's been my life's work and my dedication. My PhD is in metaphysical sciences. And so you just have to be ready, like I said, to absorb and assimilate. Ready means ready, willing, and able to absorb and assimilate this information. Okay. And I have the most elegant and direct way of doing that called the metaphysical makeover. So if you fancy any more information about that, then you should check out my website. It's ColetteDavenport.com, and that will take you to a video and sort of a written page there with more details about the metaphysical makeover. And I welcome any comments or questions that you might have on any of this. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys. Bye.